In the quiet of the cosmos, where red dust clouds swirl across ancient plains and the wind whispers through canyons that haven't seen water in 1 billion years, a new dream begins to take form. Mars, the fourth planet from the Sun, a frozen relic of what might have once been a living world, is no longer just a point of light in our sky. It has become the focus of our most daring ambitions. And leading that charge is Starship, a stainless steel leviathan designed not just to reach Mars, but to make it a home. Built by SpaceX and envisioned by Elon Musk, Starship is more than a rocket. It is a declaration, a blueprint not just for interplanetary travel, but for the expansion of life itself. Its towering frame and fully reusable design speak not only to engineering prowess, but to a deeper question. Can we, as a species, become interplanetary? For the first time in human history, we are on the edge of making that question more than a rhetorical one. We are building the vessels, we are simulating the environments, and we are preparing, however tentatively, to take that next giant leap. For millennia, humanity has lived under the illusion of permanence. Our histories are written on the soils of Earth, our cultures shaped by its rivers, its storms, its gravity. Yet now, as we look toward the heavens, we begin to understand how fragile and temporary that illusion might be. Mars has long captured the human imagination. Once seen through telescopes as a world of canals and possibly even civilizations, it has now been mapped in exquisite detail by orbiters and rovers. What we've found is no utopia, just rock, dust, and silence. But we've also found evidence of flowing water in the past, of subterranean ice, of carbon dioxide-rich air, and even organic compounds. It is not a place that welcomes life, but it is a place where life may yet be seeded. Starship is the first practical vehicle built not for a mission, but for a migration. A fully reusable spacecraft capable of carrying 100 tons of cargo, or 100 humans, into low Earth orbit and beyond. It is designed to land on Mars, refuel with locally synthesized propellant, and return. It is not a ship for one-way trips. It is a bridge, both symbolic and functional, to a new world. To reach Mars is no small task. To stay there is an order of magnitude more complex. At the heart of this endeavor is Starship's revolutionary architecture. Its stainless steel hull, chosen for strength, temperature tolerance, and reflectivity, gleams under the Texas sun during test flights. But it is not vanity. Steel, when polished, resists the searing heat of atmospheric reentry. It provides both resilience and economy. Beneath the surface, dozens of Raptor engines, methane-fueled, full-flow staged combustion marvels, power the vehicle with efficiency and reliability never before seen in rocketry. Methane is chosen with intention. It can be synthesized on Mars using the Sabatier process, combining Martian CO2 with hydrogen extracted from water ice. This isn't just a rocket, it's a closed-loop colonization system. Starship is designed to land on Mars, harvest local resources, refuel, and launch again. It is a system built not for conquest, but for permanence. Life support systems, radiation shielding, pressurized habitats. These challenges are immense and ongoing. But with each prototype, each test flight, each explosion and iteration, Starship grows closer to becoming the workhorse of a multi-planetary civilization. Mars is not Earth. It is smaller, colder, and drenched in cosmic radiation. Its atmosphere is 1% the density of ours, composed mostly of carbon dioxide. Temperatures can swing by 100 degrees in a single day. Dust storms can engulf the entire planet for months. There is no magnetic field to shield against solar wind. And yet, in the rust-colored soil, in the frozen poles, in the faint blue hue of twilight, we recognize something hauntingly familiar. Mars rotates in just over 24 hours. It has seasons. It has polar ice. Its gravity, about 1/3 that of Earth's, may be sufficient for long-term health. It is not hospitable, but it is not lifeless. And therein lies its appeal. To survive here, humanity must build with intention. Habitats must be buried for protection or covered in regolith. Life support must be airtight, redundant, and fault-tolerant. Agriculture must be reimagined. Hydroponics, aeroponics, and closed-loop bioreactors replacing open-air fields. Every gram of oxygen, every drop of water must be accounted for. It is a challenge of logistics, engineering, and imagination. But the reward is no less than a second cradle for civilization. Beyond colonization lies an even more audacious vision: terraforming. The gradual transformation of Mars into a world more like Earth. Could we warm its surface, thicken its atmosphere, and one day walk its plains without a spacesuit? Some suggest detonating thermonuclear devices over the poles to release trapped CO2. Others envision vast arrays of orbital mirrors, focusing sunlight onto key regions. More sustainable models involve genetically engineered microbes, slowly releasing greenhouse gases to warm the planet over centuries. But terraforming is not merely a technological question. It is an ethical one. Mars is a pristine world, untouched by life as we know it. Do we have the right to remake it? What if microbial life already exists, hidden in briny underground aquifers? Would our presence extinguish something ancient and irreplaceable? These are not hypothetical dilemmas. They are real, urgent, and unresolved. As we set foot on new worlds, we must carry with us not only our ambition, but our humility. Colonizing Mars is not just about rockets and radiation shielding. It is about people. Who will go? Who will stay? What kind of society will they build? The first Martians may not be astronauts, but scientists, engineers, biologists, artists, and dreamers. They will live in tight quarters, work long hours, face isolation, danger, and the constant reminder that death is a pressure leak away. But they will also be pioneers, members of the first human community beyond Earth. They will grow food in Martian soil, filtered of perchlorates. They will mine ice, recycle air, and build shelters from the bones of the planet itself. They will hold the first concerts on Mars, raise the first children, argue, love, and mourn under a salmon-colored sky. And back on Earth, we will watch, some with awe, others with skepticism, as this experiment unfolds in real time. Not a simulation, not a movie, but the birth of a new branch of humanity. What kind of civilization will Mars create? In the blank slate of a new world, do we replicate the hierarchies and systems of Earth, or do we forge something new? Will Martian society be democratic, technocratic, tribal, corporate, or something we've never imagined? What laws will govern them? Who decides property rights on a planet no one owns? What does citizenship mean when the nearest government is millions of kilometers away? These questions are not science fiction. They are the foundations of Martian governance. History teaches us that frontiers offer both opportunity and danger. Without foresight, Mars could become a haven for exploitation, inequality, or ideological extremism. But it could also be a clean slate, a chance to rethink how humans coexist, to build cities from the ground up with sustainability in mind, to prioritize collaboration over conquest, to embed ethics into engineering and culture into colonization. Why go to Mars? Why spend billions, risk lives, and divert resources from Earth's pressing problems. The answer lies not in escape, but in expansion, not in abandoning Earth, but in preserving life. Every species that has ever existed on this planet has gone extinct. Every civilization has fallen. The universe is full of cataclysms, asteroids, supervolcanoes, gamma-ray bursts. Becoming multiplanetary is not just a milestone, it is a survival strategy. Starship is our ark, Mars, our proving ground. What we learn there about ecosystems, sustainability, human psychology, and cooperation will echo back to Earth and forward to future worlds. As test flights roar over the plains of Texas and engineers tighten bolts in Boca Chica under the glow of welding sparks, the future takes shape, not in speeches or manifestos, but in stainless steel and fire. Starship rises, scarred, refined, resurrected from each failure stronger than before. It is the physical embodiment of ambition, risk, and resilience. And Mars awaits, not with open arms, but with silence, challenge, and promise. It will not welcome us. We must earn our place, not through conquest, but through courage, not through technology alone, but through wisdom, patience, and care.